yeah, we'll move on. Next, we're going to jump into the technology and processes for actually, you've got the contract signed. How do we get in and now provide this service? The first thing we look at is how do we get a internet access to the building that we can then resell. And a big question mark here is if you already have or have access to an existing network in the area. For example, a WISP may already have service in an area versus if you're coming in new or coming from a different industry. A WISP may be able to provide service to the MDU off of their existing network with a wireless backhaul. Outside of that, you may not be able to do that. So we'll typically look for carrier circuits in the area. Some common carriers that we work with are Lumen, Zayo, Cogent, and a number of others. There's regional carriers in each area that can provide that kind of connection. We're typically looking for a DIA connection, dedicated to internet access. And the ideal situation is that carrier already has fiber close in or close to the building, and they just have to finish the last portion of getting the connection, and then you, as the new ISP in the building, can provide the internal infrastructure, which we'll get to in a minute. When we do this, we typically we'll get quotes from a number of different companies to get backhaul into the building, compare both costs and timeline, and push ahead. And an important factor to consider here is to look at how much backhaul you need. So basic guidelines for us is that we like to put up to about 150, in some cases 200 subscribers on a 1 gigabit internet connection. We don't like to push it much further than that, but we'll once it gets up to just over 100, we'll start to watch it really closely and make sure to get an upgrade as soon as required. And something like about around 2,000 to 3,000 on a 10 gigabit connection. So for a 300 megabit or a 300 unit multifamily complex, you may want to look at getting a 2 gigabit internet connection to serve the whole complex. Yeah, go ahead. And we've got lots of time at the end for questions, so we'll come back for questions on these items.